Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, to be completely and utterly honest with y'all, I don't really know what to say right now. I mean, good lord. We are getting more GOAT Festival cards tomorrow, as was expected. And they include George Merson, who's 7'7", Taco Fall, who's 7'5", and has a player build that's bigger than that, Ben Simmons, who's a 6'10" point guard, Danny Ferry, who's a 6'10" shooting guard, Danny Granger, 6'9" shooting guard, Ron Artest, 6'7" point guard, J.R. Smith, 6'6" point guard, Steve Francis, who will be 5 pieces, I would have to assume, at the smallest point guard on this list, but he's like 6'2", 6'3". Besides Steve Francis, Ron Artest, J.R. Smith, and arguably Danny Granger, if you look at the top 4 cards in this, in Murasan, Ben Simmons, Taco Fall, and Danny Ferry, I mean, good God, that's all I have to say. 2K just they're grabbing at people's wallets. I'll tell you that right now, no doubt about it. I won't be spending on this, I hope, and I encourage you to not spend on this. Again, it's coming out July 25th, 35 days away from 2K26. Hold on. If you want to spend money in 2K26, I totally get it. I'm sure I'll probably spend some money. Well, we'll see. I have 2 accounts. But one account I probably will. The other account I won't. That being said, I don't know. I just think if you're going to spend money, save it to then. Because, like, what is the point of getting these cards? I don't know. Maybe you really are going to get that much enjoyment out of these guys in a month, but I just think, I mean, the guys who are 60 pieces, Taco and Murasan, I mean, they're not grindable unless you spend literally 75 plus hours on the game in 1 calendar week, which is pretty absurd. The Ben Simmons of the world, he'll probably be 30, would be my guess. He's like somewhat, maybe a little bit grindable, just barely. If you have ridiculous amounts of time and are really willing to grind it, or willing to spend a bunch of MT on MT singles to get pieces. I guess the other guys, anybody 20, 25 and below, you could theoretically get, but it's still going to take you. I mean, if you're playing triple threat, you're looking at 15 games per piece. You get 5 free pieces. You're grinding for somebody for 20 pieces. That's 15 times 15 is what? My math is bad, but that's 225, I believe. 225 triple threat park wins in 1 week to get one of these guys who are 20 pieces, let alone 30, 40 pieces, you know what I mean? Or 30, 60 pieces. Like, it's pretty insane how much you have to play for these cards if you want any of the good ones. Now, I'm sure Steve Francis will probably be 5 pieces. Of course he will. He's the worst player in this drop by far. J.R., Artest, Granger, probably going to be one of them, maybe, if it's like last week's drop anyway, one of them will be 12. I would think that'll probably be J.R., but I'm not certain. And then one of them will be 15, probably Artest or Granger, and one of them 20, the other of Artest and Granger, I would assume. Ferry's 25, Simmons is 30, and Murasan and Taco are 60, is my guess. I could be wrong. We'll see. But I don't know, man. How many GOAT pieces do you get in 1 HOF box? Just for the sake of math. You get 6 GOAT pieces in 1 HOF box. Plus you can grind for, let's say you're good at the game and you do well in King of the Court. You can grind for 7 off of the pieces you get rewarded with, including the King of the, well, let's say top 10%, because that's more attainable for most people. Well, top 1 might be kind of hard. So we'll say 6 free GOAT pieces plus 6 from 1 HOF box. You spend $100 on a HOF box and you grind all the free pieces and you have 12 pieces. You got to get 48 more for Murasan and Taco. You buy 2 more HOF boxes. Oh, wow. All of a sudden you only need 36 more freaking pieces. I mean, the amount of money people are spending to get these cards, people are spending money to get them it's a lot, man. It's a lot. And I don't know. I say nobody. The majority of people who are spending that type of money on this game are going to be spending money to get 2K26, which is totally understandable, and then spending money on that game. But you're spending on cards you're not going to use in a month, if not even maybe less, because people might not play 2K more and more as we get towards 2K26. People are going to take a break off the game, and that's totally understandable. But I have a hard time wrapping my brain around spending the amount of money that these guys are going to cost. 2K, oh my goodness, if they had made the GOAT Festival better, this could have been such a W end to the year. If number 1 GOAT pieces were more grindable, or number 2, they carried over week to week. Even if they carried over week to week, I mean, you can still, again, only grind for about 6 of them per week. The entire season, that's 36 GOAT pieces. That's a little more than half of one of Murasan or Taco. So you still are going to have to play 24 times 15 is 360 games. of Triple Threat Park wins in a season to get one of the 60-piece players for free and grind all the free pieces. Like, yeah, that's if they had done it with exchanges cross week to week. And that would have been like, I still wouldn't have absolutely loved it, but it would have been reasonable. People would have been able to grind for reasonably the average player, one or two of these players, couple of the 25, 30 piece players, of which there are some really good ones. You get a couple of those guys throughout the season. Like, it would have been so much more tenable to the average player. But as of now, it is literally play the game like a full-time job, or like a full-time job that you're working overtime on. Of course, you're not getting any return from the game besides one player at the end of all that, or spend like, to get Mirasan or Taco, spend like half your rent payment to get one of those guys. I just, to me, it's, I don't know, man. I just think this is an all-time bad into the year, honestly. This is, I really hope that they at least do season 9 well in terms of like the GOAT Invincible packs. But at this point, they're intentionally dropping better players in the GOAT Festival than they are in packs. Like, if you look at this drop, the packs were not nearly as good. I mean, Kawhi and Vince would be, Jokic is really good in packs, but Kawhi and Vince would be our test level, the second or third, like probably the third worst card in this drop, third worst card in this drop. Like, it's pretty, that's pretty bad, man. That is pretty bad. The week before, I mean, in packs, we get a GOAT Embiid. The week before on Friday, we get Anthony Davis, Luka, and Pippen, all of whom are solid, but none of whom are insane. And we get Bol, Jonathan Bender, Simbalar the week before in the GOAT Festival. These last couple of weeks, they're not even trying to hide it. They're like, here, if you want the best players, we're going to squeeze every single last dollar we can out of you this year. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, again, I understand 2K is a business. They are trying to make money. That is their goal. I get that. It doesn't have to be this greedy. It just doesn't. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to change. And I honestly think it's going to work even better next year, because there's going to be the idea of winning $10,000 that's out there on a weekly basis to people throughout the year. And that's actually going to get, and I'm going to say, it sound mean for saying this, that's going to get average to slightly above average players to spend way more money than they should, because of a false delusion that they might have a real chance at that. The amount of people who are going to have a real chance at that money are probably 20 to 25 people per console, and that's being generous. Realistically, it's probably closer to 5 or 6 per console on a weekly basis. It's going to be the best players in the world winning that money if the system is anything close to a logical system, which, to be fair, no guarantees with 2K. But I just think it's going to work even better next year. People are going to make so much money. 2K is going to make so much money off this stuff. I can't believe how many people I run into in this game still who have Jonathan Bender and Bol and Michael Beasley and Taco Fall, or will probably have Taco Fall and Tim Thomas and some of these guys. Like, I've been playing Showdown these last couple days a little bit more, and I've run into like several of them. I'm kind of surprised. I don't know. Maybe people are really grinding the game. I saw a couple comments, people saying that they grinded for Jonathan Bender this week. Like, hey, you know what? I respect your grind. At least you're not spending money on it, but damn. These cards are expensive, they're tough to get, and for the vast majority of people, they're just not attainable. And that's a shame. But that being said, that is gonna do it for the video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.